What if I told you Stray was a horror game? You would probably laugh in my face. It's the cutest game of the year. The cutest game ever, right? Well, let me ask you a question. Is this cute? Is this cute? How about this? You see, your feline protagonist might be cute, but the world you find yourself in is straight from horror. Even the quirky robot companions are trapped in an eternal purgatory, endlessly mimicking their long dead human creators, whilst avoiding the horrific threat of the Zerks, huge flesh-devouring leech-like creatures that are slowly coating the entire city in grotesque, living tissue. Well, that sounds a lot like a horror setting to me, but this is part of the masterful crafting of Stray's world and story. It is a horror setting, but you, by your actions, make this a better place. And this amps up the charm of the game, because you are the only one improving the situation, the only one making things better in this horrific place. You are the only non-hostile life, and you bring life, music, freedom, hope, aspirations, and companionship to this doomed world. You, the cute kitty, improve this horrific world just by being a cute and friendly cat. That is the genius of blending light horror elements with what is essentially a game about being a cute cat. Let's delve a bit deeper and look at the horror influences on the journey you undergo in Stray. The game opens to a storm and an angry red sun. You immediately see all the structures are overgrown in creeping plants and vines. It's immediately evident that humans are gone. As you roam with your pack, disaster strikes, and your friends can do nothing but watch as you plummet into an all-enveloping darkness. You leave life and greenery behind. You're now in the nightmare of City 99. You awaken injured in a darkened, lifeless tunnel, your meows of pain echoing as you limp around this new area. Your small frame is dwarfed by an enormous, festering pile of refuse. As you make your way slowly out of the tunnel, through an enormous, foreboding blast door, huge red characters appear on the screen. Dead City. The Dead City. A cold, alien, lonely place with no glimmer of life. The place is drab, grey and silent, with only dim, pale light. What happened here? Search the walls and you'll find your answer amongst the torn, unintelligible warning posters. You see Pandemic Protocol and graffiti like RIP humans, no escape, run, and yet through all that, it becomes evident. You're not alone. The security cameras are watching you. This is clearly a horror opening. Imagine if you controlled a human rather than a cat and had no preconceptions about the game. You would immediately know this was horror. As you continue on, a neon sign lights up in your path, but quickly gutters out. The inert body of a lifeless automaton is in your path. Lights begin to flicker. Help. Some presence knows you're here. Flickering black and white TVs begin to lead you. And I can't be the only one that thought this was a bit creepy. More dead robots lie in your path as you continue onward. As you make your way through the innards of buildings, you start to notice that everything is rotten, rusted, and decaying. The only sounds are of moving cameras and the occasional flickering light. Then you finally reach your first encounter with B12, your friendly drone. The previous creepy area serves to make this a cute and relieving union. You now have a guide and a translator. The world isn't as alien anymore. Some of that brilliant creepiness is alleviated simply by having a companion. And it's a great first step into the relationship with B12, as you can now explore together and more effectively. You continue on through a Zerk-infested area, and again, this could be ripped straight from a horror game. These giant mobile leeches chase and attach themselves to you, consuming you until you drop and die. Meanwhile, they cover the city in this vile, fleshy morass. And when you finally see humanoid robots, they flee in terror from you. The Zerks are the only life that remain, and they are so horrifying that the residents are immediately scared of anything remotely like them. But this again is where the cuteness of the game is accentuated. You let these robots trust and enjoy organic life again. You make their lives better, mostly. And the rise of this cute optimism is directly opposed to the bleak, horrifying situation the robots find themselves in. They've been trapped in this underground city for an eternity. The sky isn't the sky, but a giant ceiling. They believe the outside is nothing but a myth. This horrific, trapped existence in a rubbish-strewn wasteland is all there is. And yet, you bring lightness and joviality. You cause mischief, you befriend people. You bring music to the dim streets and clothe the cold. And you see that despite it all, the robots can be happy and can feel emotion. This alleviation of the horror makes the game more engaging and elevates the setting and story, making it all the more endearing. But the horror is even more evident in the Zerk-infested environments. These are grotesque horror through and through. The rooftop section is bathed in an ominous red light, with blistering yellow pustules and ravenous swarms of Zerks that will furiously hunt you down. Here, the disgusting fleshy coating has started to completely consume the city. Giant tendons stretch between buildings, and everywhere you look, this monstrosity seems to grow. These areas serve as a reminder that the robot encampments are called safe zones for a reason. The Zerks are a horrific threat, and when you eventually escape the slums through the sewers, you see that they burst forth from these alien-like, fleshy eggs. And as you crawl through dark pipes and a fleshy hellscape, you eventually come to the eyes. The eyes. Can anyone seriously look at that and tell me it's not horror? Your run-ins with the Zerks show you how dire the situation is for the city's inhabitants. And so when your brief, creepy foray into these areas allow you to reunite a father and son, to bring hope to a despairing believer, and to help your friend B12 on his way, the endearing nature of the acts has a more fully realized weight to it. You are the cute savior of the city, and you're braving these horrific areas to improve life for everyone. And everywhere you go, hope is kindled. The eyes are really the climax of the horror segments in Stray, though the final prison section is also quite chilling, as is the eventual discovery of B12's full story, and even the pristine abandonment of the control room is eerie. But to sum up, the cuteness and endearing nature of Stray is brought to a whole new level by the fact that it takes place in a setting and with a story that is straight from horror. An entombed city, eternal lifeless automatons trapped in a cycle of imitating their long-dead masters, a hostile invasive life force hunting everything that moves and coating the city in a horrific festering monstrosity. And then there's you, the antidote. You are a cute cat. You purr and brush up against people. You make mischief but help people out. You bring fun and light and life to this place. That is why the setting works so well. You take charge of the only source of joy in this entire world, and you bring that joy to everyone and everything until you ultimately completely free the city.